Hi, welcome to my yellow raincoat. This is my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. We are now on season 8. Some of you might have missed season 1, so I wanted to explain again today why it's called my yellow raincoat. And it has to do with a situation that occurred in my personal life when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. I needed something. I needed a security blanket. I needed something, a coping skill to help me through this diagnosis because I was so nervous. I was so scared. And so I talked to the students about this and we had a creative visualization where you didn't actually see the yellow raincoat, but you knew it was there on the wall. And if anybody ever needed it, they just had to walk over and bundle up in that yellow raincoat. And there's one thing for sure through everything I've seen, that eventually, storming, you're crying, you're miserable, eventually the storm stops, the sunshine comes out, and you can walk over to that wall and hang up your yellow raincoat. But what I didn't get a chance to tell you is how my students reacted when I was going through this time period. Teenagers get kind of a bad rap. People say they're selfish, all they do is think about themselves, they don't care about anybody else. And I am here to tell you it is the complete opposite of that. They're so loving, they're so caring, they're so giving. As long as you are authentic, and they know that you are authentic. So this is what happened. This is how the yellow raincoat came about. My daughter was in her first teaching experience. She was teaching the homeless kids while she was working on her master's degree. And she was really sick. She was coughing away and just coughing. I said, you have to go to the doctor. You're really sick. So she went and he said she had the flu and gave her some Tamiflu medication and things. And a week later, I said, I think you have bronchitis or pneumonia. You're not getting any better. You have to go back to the doctor. So she went at the end of her school day. And the next morning, during my third period class, the guidance counselor from the office came down to my room and said, your daughter's doctor called. You need to call him immediately. Your daughter is really sick. I'll take your class. So that led to a lot of phone calls and doctor's appointments in the next day or two. And my daughter had to go to a lung specialist and have a CAT scan of her lungs. And before we knew it, I was meeting the doctor at the hospital. And the interesting thing about this is I had my yellow legal pad with me when I was going to be meeting with the doctor. They didn't know what she had, and now I was going to be getting this diagnosis. And I had a lot of questions, and so she said to me she was going to have this surgery, and so I said, okay, I got to call in for a sub. As soon as we're done with this meeting, I have to call in for a substitute. And he said, are you a teacher? And I said, yes. And he asked me where and what grade. And I looked down at my legal pad as I was answering the questions, and I looked and I went, your daughter's in my 6th period class, isn't she? It's a very small world. Anyways, I'm going to get all emotional here. So I had to miss a couple of days, and I came back to school, and I was very nervous about everything. It was just a really hard time. And so while I was teaching, I didn't want to bite my fingernails off. I was so nervous. So I started eating dots while I was teaching. Those gummy candies, these dots. They were getting stuck in my teeth, but I was just so nervous. And I had 175 students, and I just said, you know what? I apologize. I'm so rude. I have no manners. I'm just nervous right now, guys, and I don't want to bite off my fingernails. So I'm chewing on these dots, and please forgive me. I promise that this is going to end very soon. I won't have to be eating these anymore, but right now I'm just really nervous. So I was gone the next day, and when I returned, I couldn't find my desk. I looked and well, where is my desk? I can't see my desk. That's because my desk was covered. Hundreds of boxes of dots. Those kids were my rock. They helped me through surgeries, treatments. They were wonderful. They are not selfish at all. They're so compassionate and so caring. I'm going to read some of the letters that I received during that time period. I love sharing these because it really shows you how wonderful they are. Miss Rand, we all love you. Candy for you. Dots! We're behind you and your daughter. We send out our prayers, always. Love you, Miss Rand. This card is from the heart. It's a Hallmark wannabe. Hope you feel much better. I hope you feel much better as well as your daughter. We are all behind you and your daughter to give you both all our support. These are just kids. Look at how thoughtful they are. Hallmark wannabes. This is from a parent thinking of you and praying that God will give you a day filled with comfort and special blessings. Just to let you know we're thinking of you and keeping you in our prayers. To your daughter. This is addressed to my daughter. We hope each day you are feeling better with added strength and courage and hope. Since our son thinks so much of you and your mom, we know that you are in good care. With love. Dee Dee. This was actually not a student. This was a friend of a student of a friend. I hope your daughter will get well soon. I know that you love her, and that's why I have started to pray as of Monday. Remember that I'm thinking of you. Miss Rand, one of the many things I am thankful for this week is having you as a teacher. My whole family is praying for you and your daughter this week. I'm glad I have a teacher like you. Stay strong. Dear Miss Rand, I am very sorry that your daughter is sick. I enjoy your class very much, and knowing that your daughter is sick saddens me. I hope your daughter gets well and wish you both the best. And I have one more. I actually had this young lady as a student, and then the next year, this year, while she was writing this letter, she was my student assistant. I know that this last quarter has not been the greatest for you due to your daughter's cancer. I know it is a very shocking moment when a mother has to hear this out of a doctor's mouth. You have stayed strong, and that is all you can do. Life has a way of making things better, and soon she will be back to normal. Don't worry, just look at the positive side. The doctors will help her to get rid of this. Maybe not right away, but I promise they will because that is why we have them. I know that you have gotten several cards that are saying hope she gets better, but I wrote this one for you to put a smile on your face and to make you realize how wonderful of a person you are. I have known you now 2 years, and these years have been filled with great honor that I have been taught by Miss Rand. You showed me a way of writing, and from that I have won many contests. Your teaching will be used all through my life, and I want to thank you for all you have done. I get so choked up. When May rolls around, it's going to be hard to say goodbye because you are someone I look up to, Miss Rand. Stay strong and always look at the positive side. Life will treat your daughter well and will do what it needs to do. Just don't worry and be happy. Like I said, they were my rock. Now, when you are a teacher and you create this kind of an ambiance in your classroom, this is not just for me. This is for each one of my students. We all became like family where everyone could open up about problems and decisions and challenges that they had in their life. So there was a day not too long after all of this where I just explained a group project that my students were going to be doing, and they were going to be getting into groups now. They had to gather their supplies, and desks were moving, and it was a little bit noisy in the room. And all of a sudden, one of the boys sitting over here just said, and I went, yes. And he goes, my mom has breast cancer. Everything in the room stopped. All the noise, all the shuffling, everything just stopped. So I saw that sad face and everything stopped because I needed to engage with this young man. And I said, how long is she being treated now? And how's it going? And where is, I just asked a lot of questions that weren't too personal, but enough so that he could express himself and talk about it. And I said, thank you so much for sharing. It's not easy to share these challenges with everybody. But, there's other kids in here that are going through things that are similar to yours and to mine. And they may not express it right now, but they know that they are not alone. And that is so important that you shared this information with all of us. So, and I sent one of the ladies over to our wall. I said, can you go get Josh the yellow raincoat? We need to wrap him up in that. He needs a security blanket right now. And then I said, Josh, will you come up here and get some dots? Because I think it's a dot day for you too. So just pick out what you want because I have plenty. That's what happens when you're authentic. That's what happens when you reveal a side of you that kids from their letters, they have told me, a lot of teachers don't do. They don't tell them what's going on in their life. It's like they're insulated from the world. But I wanted to be able to share this, and I wanted to be able to share all the good things that were going on. So I want to read you one more letter. And this is a letter that I wrote to everyone because when I say they were my rock, I mean it. They were my rock. Dear students, parents, and coworkers, as we walk through life, we all encounter difficulties that challenge our courage and strength. Perseverance leads down a path that channels our determination and faith. Sometimes, however, an obstacle crosses our path that seems too powerful, causes our heart to break, and makes us wonder if we have enough faith to overcome. When my oldest daughter was diagnosed with cancer in November, my world turned upside down. Numbness set in, and I didn't know how I was going to cope. Word spread quickly throughout this community, and the response was so comforting. Your kind thoughts, prayers, hugs, cards, and gifts have been so beautiful. You have been so supportive and very special. Every day, as I walk around our campus, my faith is renewed. I send a heartfelt thank you to all of you. I hope that your lives are filled with blessings, love, joy, and good health, with love and gratitude. Now, I'm not going to end this without telling you a little bit about what happened with these scenarios that I presented today. So my daughter has been living with cancer now for 18 years. It's amazing. She's a miracle. And I love her doctors. And the young man whose mom had breast cancer, she is a survivor. She's doing great. And so we were able to give each other emotional support. And with that young man, the minute I had ended that conversation and everybody got back to work, you should have seen the kids run over to him and give him hugs. They gave me hugs too. We're just a real huggy room. So this is just what I wanted to let you know today. So now you will know, in case you missed season 1, about my yellow raincoat, and it'll come up in several of my seasons. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Bye.